Hello and welcome to St. Bona Shootaround, the only show at Bonaventure that's all fueled up and ready to drive down to Brooklyn. This is a very special edition of St. Bona Shootaround, as the Bonnies challenge St. Joseph's today in the Atlantic 10 semifinals. I'm your host, Chris Spiker, and I'm joined once again by Taylor Negrelli, sports editor of the Bonaventure. Thanks for rushing in here, Taylor.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Before we get you set for the Bonnies game against the Hawks, let's all take a deep breath and watch how Bonas knocked off top-seeded St. Louis yesterday. The Billikens controlled the first half, leading 38-28 at the break, but the Bonnies caught right back up with a huge 15-3 run. Matt Wright drained a three with about 38 seconds to go, tying the game at 65. Next possession, Dwayne Evans countered with his own three with about 20 to go. But in that last possession, Jordan Gathers, all he wanted was $100 million and a tray ball. Bonnies win 71-68. It's their first win over St. Louis since February 16, 2011. The Bonnies moved to 18-14 on the season. And once again, here's Mike Corey on the call for NBC Sports.
On Kloof. Gathers for the win. Count it. It's over.
What a finish. Coming into the season, the Bonnies hadn't beaten the top 25 team since they beat Temple in the Riley Center in 2000. This year, they've beaten two ranked teams, also knocking off UMass at Bonas on January 29th. It's a loaded question, Taylor, but how do you think the Bonnies pulled off this incredible upset?
Well, I think it was mostly due to the efforts of their two best players and their two seniors, Charlene Kloof and Matt Wright. I mean, Wright obviously had a huge second half, 18 points, knocked down that first three that, put him ahead with less than a minute left. And then Kloof just had an incredible all-around game, 22 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists. So I thought those two were the main catalyst for the win.
I mean, everybody's going to look at that final Jordan Gathers shot, and you have to look at how Kloof managed that final play. They set up a high ball screen with Yusu Endoy, and then it didn't quite work out for the normal Kloof drive that we're used to see on the final play. But then he kicked it out to Matt Wright, or Jordan Gathers at the top of the key, who was wide open for that three. And you got to look at how Kloof also managed the first half of the game, because the Bonnies got to a very slow start, and it looked like St. Louis was the superior team in the first half, with them up by as many as 13 early on. But he had half of the points in the first half. The Bonnies had 28 at the half, and he had 14 of them. So it was really incredible to see how he managed that and kept them in the game for so long.
Yeah, it seemed like it was going to be a blowout if it wasn't for his effort in the first half, driving the lane, had a couple good assists, played pretty well on defense. If it wasn't for him, who knows, they might have been down 20-25 at halftime. St. Louis was just really shooting the lights out in the first half, and he was really the only one that was scoring for St. Bonaventure, so he was really the most important factor in the first half.
Yeah, and somebody who had a rough first half but really stepped up in the second was Yusu Endoy, and it really comes back to how he's matured over the past 3 years. He's really developed his game over the course of conference play, and now he's having an incredible tournament. He has to be on one of the and up there for like first team all tournament. He had that one drive at the end of the first half, which was incredible, and then he really helped neutralize Rob Lowe down low against St. Louis. So hopefully he can do that again with Kanasevich coming up.
Yeah, he's played very well. You never really know with Yusu, just based on this is a perfect example today how he played in the first half versus how he played in the second half. If he played the way he did against Steve Zach on Thursday, they should have no issue with Kanasevich. He played very well at times. I think the best version of Yusu that they really want was the late in the first half Thursday when he just scored it well, showed a variety of moves, was a problem on defense, blocked some shots. So if he plays well, that could be a huge factor. There's not a lot of athletic 7-footers in all of college basketball.
Sure, and there's not many 7-footers in college basketball that can just run down the court and send it in at the end of half like Yusu did today. And now, less than 24 hours after Gathers sank that buzzer beater three, the Bonnies have to get ready for their third game in Brooklyn. The first time around, the Bonnies failed to close at home against the Hawks. How can they get a different result the second time around, Taylor?
I think just like it was today, it's the same factors that are important. Kloof and Matt Wright. I think you need to see excellent games out of them. St. Joe's is very good, and if you want to beat St. Louis and St. Joe's in back-to-back days, and more if you want to win 3 games in 3 consecutive days, you have to have almost a perfect game from pretty much everyone, the best version of them. You need to see Kloof play like he did today, and like he especially played in the first half of conference play, that kind of game from him, all-around complete game. And I think you need to see Yusu the way he played on Thursday. He needs to be an offensive force and score down low. Some contributions off the bench. Jordan Gathers, for everything he did at the end of the game there with that shot, he wasn't particularly a factor throughout most of the game. I think you'd need to see a little bit more out of him and Dion. And I think the biggest factor is Kloof. I assume he'll be guarding Galloway, and I think that'll be the biggest factor. Yeah, obviously, Galloway had 31 today in their win over Dayton. Kloof's been known to shut down some of the better guards in the A-10, so that'll be huge to see if he can do that.
That'll be incredibly huge because that is what was another key for the win over St. Louis was there was an incredible energy on defense. They were locking down, they were rotating, they started the 1-3-1 half-court trap that forced quite a few turnovers from Jordan Jet. They need to do that same thing against St. Louis because or St. Joe's because when they go up against St. Joe's, they're going to have Kanasevich who can step out and make some threes. They're going to have Holloway who can make some threes, and they have a couple other role players that can certainly bang home the outside shots.
Yeah, I think that's going to be huge perimeter defense, obviously. Jordan's very good at that, so I wouldn't be so surprised if Jordan played a little bit more than Mandel again this game. He's just a little bit better of a perimeter defender. But yeah, I think Kloof's going to be the main catalyst, the most important part of slowing down St. Joe's offense.
Certainly Jordan's shot at the end was it was everything, but overall he was very quiet against St. Louis for the most part up until that point, so he'll need to definitely step it up towards the game in St. Joe's.
Absolutely, and hopefully that'll give him confidence. He's always been a good shooter, and it seems that he's a little bit trigger shy, so hopefully he'll have confidence shooting the ball tomorrow.
So I guess the most pressing issue I have for you is, are you going to go down to New York City this weekend?
If they win today, I'll be there for the championship Sunday.
Well, we're heading down for the St. Joe's game tomorrow, so hopefully I get to stay an extra day. We have a place to stay. We have our car ready to go, whole crew of us. Let's go Bonas. Thank you again for joining me, Taylor.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Once again, Taylor Negrelli is the sports editor of the Bonaventure, St. Bonaventure's student-run newspaper. This week's sports section features a special piece about the unfortunate passing of SBU's assistant SID, Brian Moretti. You can pick up a copy at various places on campus or visit www.thebv.org. Once again, I want to thank all of the volunteers who helped me put together the show this season. I especially want to thank them for coming together on such short notice. I also want to thank my professors who have advised on this project, Denny Wilkins, Paul Whelan, and Joe Pachkowski. And thank you again for joining us for another edition of St. Bona Shootaround. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/St. Bona Shootaround to watch our episodes. From the Coop Lab, I'm Chris Spiker. Enjoy the game, and I hope to see you in Brooklyn. Go Bonas.